Welcome to Judgment Call Reddit's Moral Maze, your go-to destination within the Reddit Roundup for unraveling the most compelling Am I the A-hole stories. Join us as we navigate the twists and turns of Reddit's moral dilemmas and weigh in with your verdict. On today's show, we have 7 stories, with 2 of them already having an answer to their queries. The first post today comes from Ceramic Platter, and she asks, "Am I the a-hole for thinking it unfair? My husband plans to give money to his daughter, who shared his parents' inheritance already. My husband Nate and I, both 50, have been married 24 years with twin sons 22. He got into an awful car accident a couple months ago, and though was not seriously injured, he was shaken. He now often talks about how life is fleeting and we should make sure to be prepared. Nate has 2 siblings, an older brother and a sister, Tina, 33. Tina is actually Nate's biological daughter. He had her in high school, and his parents adopted her from birth. Her mom was never in the picture. The family all knows about this, including Tina herself. Tina and my family were cordial, but not close. Nate's parents passed within a year of each other, almost a decade ago. They split all they had 3 ways for their 3 kids. 5 years ago, Nate's older brother decided to join a monastery. He left behind all of his worldly possessions to Tina and my sons, though my sons mostly got things of sentimental value, while Tina got things of more monetary value. I think my in-laws were all within their rights to handle their money as they saw fit. My problem is Nate. Yesterday, Nate told me he had a rough idea of how he would like his possessions taken care of. Basically, he would like to split all he has 3 ways. Tina and our 2 sons. We don't have a lot, but Nate has his parents' inheritance, and he would like to give that to all his children equally. I asked him, how was this fair? Tina was adopted by his parents and already received her inheritance as their daughter. If his parents gave him and his brother half and half, I would understand why he felt the need to provide Tina with something. As it is, Tina already took from his share of the inheritance. Moreover, his brother also gave her money and valuables worth more than our sons received. Tina is also a dentist. She is in no way in need of financial help. Nate said at the end of the day, Tina is his biological daughter, and it is only right that he left her something. I don't think we need to pile more money onto a capable woman with a good job who already has so much while our sons are still young and just starting their careers. Am I the a-hole? The second post comes to us from Cataclysmus78.
Am I the a-hole for refusing my son's Christmas gift? I 40s male live with my wife, 40s female, and our youngest child, 18 male. Times have been tight for us the last few months. Our bills are paid, but we have essentially no discretionary income, and that means that Christmas presents were pretty much off the table. This is the first Christmas where this has been the case, and my wife and I have been pretty sad. Our son is aware of this, and being an empathetic kid, was accepting of the situation. He's also lucky in that I have a few wealthy relatives that give him money for Christmas each year. So Christmas morning comes around, and our son comes in and gives us each a card. We smile and open them, and in each card is $100. It almost brought me to tears. He used his own Christmas money to give us a gift, even though we couldn't give him anything. Here's where I'm torn. I got up, gave him a hug, thanked him, and then gave the money back. I told him that he will never have to give us money. My personal feeling is that gifts of money go down generations or sideways, but never up. I absolutely do not want either of my children giving me money and would never ask. It just seems wrong to me. He seemed a bit disappointed. I took the cards and put them up on the mantle over the fireplace and made a big deal over how much we liked them, but I refused the money, told him to keep it and buy himself something nice with it. Am I the asshole for refusing this gift? Update. Many here have suggested that I let him treat us all to a nice dinner. I've just spoken to him, and that's what we're going to do. Thank you so much for your feedback and kind words. I especially appreciate the You're the Asshole votes that included positive feedback and advice. I hope everyone has a happy new year.
The third post comes to us from Denzel Tyson.
Am I the a-hole for calling out a girl for farting in class and making her cry? Basically, 2 weeks ago, I, 17 male, was sitting in class. My friend was to my left. and a girl who sat behind me. Throughout the class, I kept getting whiffs of someone farting. Initially, I put it off because I assumed it would stop. It then got to a point where it kept happening every 1 to 2 minutes. We were towards the end of the lecture. I then whispered to my friend, "Who the fuck keeps farting? This is pissing me off. I can't focus." And he starts laughing. Unfortunately, the girl behind me heard it, and immediately, the girl behind me starts crying. The entire class is now looking towards us because they saw us laughing, followed by her crying. The teacher looks, and she leaves the class. The teacher goes outside to ask what happened. He comes back in 2 minutes later and says, "Name of my friend and me, come talk to me before lunch." He then calls both of us after class and asks the situation. I explained that I kept getting a bad smell, so I whispered to name of my friend. He then says that she got very embarrassed and should apologize to her the next time I see her. The next day in class, both my friend and I told her we were not making fun of her and did not mean to offend her. She didn't end up saying anything. This was a few days before break, and the situation got reported to the dean. The dean said he will speak to us after break. None of us know if there will be consequences or not.
The next post comes to us from Objective Waltz 5721. Am I the a-hole for refusing to drive my husband to the airport and being upset he is leaving? Some background. We live on the East Coast and his family lives in Texas. My family lives about 4 hours away. They drive to us for every holiday, birthday, dance recital, etc. We have lived here for roughly 7 years before that. We lived in Texas. His family takes several trips, vacations a year, and only once this past year came to visit us. Over the 7 years, we have went to visit them at minimum 1 to 3 times per year. My husband works out of town about 3 weeks a month, so it's a lot of solo parenting for me. The weekend before Xmas, he went with his parents and siblings to Oklahoma to visit his grandparents. Myself and my children were unable to go as my daughter had holiday things going on at home she didn't want to miss. He came home the Monday before Xmas and asked if we could swing a trip to Texas after Xmas to see his family, and so his dad and him could go to the Alamo Bowl. I told him that we unfortunately couldn't. We really couldn't swing an unplanned trip financially right now, and with wanting to travel so close to the holidays, booking prices were extremely high. I also explained to him that our daughter had off of school in all sports this week, and that never happens, especially when he is home too. And I really wanted this to be a week for us to all spend together, especially since he will start traveling for work again on the 2nd of January and will not be home until the last week of January. The day before Christmas Eve, I was out shopping, and he texted me saying he knew I was going to be mad, but his dad had booked him a flight and bought tickets for himself, my husband, my brother-in-law, and mother-in-law to all go to the game. He would return the 30th. I got upset because we had already talked about going, and I said that we just couldn't swing it this year. His response was that he knew nothing about this, and his dad surprised him with it for a last-minute Xmas gift, which is a lie because they mailed our gifts to us and our children, and he had received an Xmas gift. I asked him if everything had already been purchased as I would like him to not go. He said yes, and that he was going because it's something he really wanted to do. We haven't spoken much since then, honestly, because I feel very hurt that he doesn't want to spend time with myself and our children before a long work trip, after he's just seen his family last week and would rather spend most of the week with his parents. He says that we could just book flights for myself and our kids to go, but we honestly don't have the money, and I'm not maxing out a credit card for an unplanned trip. Tonight, he asked me if I will be driving him to the airport tomorrow morning for a 6 a.m. flight. I told him that he will need to book an Uber because I'm not waking our kids up at 3:30 a.m. to drive an hour each way to the airport so that he can go on a trip that I don't even want him going on. He says that I'm being unreasonable. Am I the asshole? The next post comes to us from external channel-352.
Am I the a-hole for telling my dad that I don't care that his stepdaughter died? I'm 28 male. My mama died not long after I was born. Dad married Tina, not her real name. When I was 7, she had a daughter also 7 from a previous relationship, Diana. Me and Diana did not get along. Diana was spoiled, and to adult me, it was obvious she resented not being the only child anymore. She took it out on me. She would break my toys and steal my stuff and lie to get me in trouble. I would complain to Dad and Tina, but they told me to get over it. If I did the same, I would get punished. It only got worse as we got older. I felt abandoned by my dad. I often felt lonely in my house. So I guess you guys can see who the golden child was. At 16, Diana spread a nasty rumor about me in school, and I almost got expelled. Diana got caught lying and got suspended. Of course, Dad and Tina blamed me for this. That was the last straw for me. I rang my cousin, Shyla from my mama's side, and told her what's been happening. She came over to my house angry at Tina and Dad. She gave them a piece of her mind. Dad said if it bothered her so much, then she was welcome to have me. That was a blow to my heart to hear my own dad say that to me. So me and Shyla went to pack my stuff. Diana's room was open, and she was sitting on her bed smirking at me. We got my stuff, and we left. I haven't looked back since. Over the years, Dad, or even Diana, tried to contact me, but I would block all attempts. Now a week ago, Shyla visited me. She told me that she got a message from Dad, for me. I was surprised she even mentioned Dad, since she knew how I felt about him. She told me that Diana was in fatal accident and didn't make it. She said he was wanting to talk to me. Shyla handed me his number and said it's up to me. I did ring him out of curiosity, more than anything. He didn't even recognize my voice. But when I told him it was me, he broke down crying, and most of the time, I couldn't make sense of what he was saying. When he calmed down, he said my sister died, and it's time to come back home and make things right with each other. I asked what sister. I have no sister. He started crying and saying, "Don't do this. She doesn't deserve this." This has enraged me, and I just let out all my anger, hurt and frustration I had felt towards them, and ended with, "I don't care if she had died." My girlfriend who was beside me took my phone off me and ended the call for me. Glad she did, before I had said any more. She told me later that I could have been more understanding. I've had time to think over and wonder if she is right, and am I the asshole?
The sixth post comes to us from Any Bookkeeper 2304. Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter-in-law her being poor is not my problem, and to stop judging about the 75-plus gifts under the tree? I am wondering if I am justified or not. Everyone came over for Christmas. I have 14 grandkids, then all of my 5 kids, everyone's spouse, and all of the older relatives. The kids get 3 presents each. That's 42 gifts just for the kids. There are 17 adults, and I get them 2 gifts each, so 34 gifts in total. Then I got 9 gifts in total for the pets in the family. I'm not counting any gifts from my husband and me or any of the gifts I got from all the relatives. If I did, it would be around 100 under the tree. As you can see, it is a ton of gifts, and I start shopping for everyone at basically the start of New Year's. Also, young kids are so easy. Anyways, I put everything under the tree, and it is a mess each year. My issue is that one of my daughter-in-law, the whole night, she kept going on about not being able to get many presents for their 2 kids. At the adult table, she started ranting about how I made her look bad to her kids. Her husband tried to make her stop, and she told him someone has to tell this bitch. I had enough at this point and told her that her being poor is not my problem and to stop judging the amount of presents. The dinner went on, and the kids had a wonderful time. My son wants me to apologize. The last post comes to us from The Missing Sock.
Am I the asshole if I tell on my youngest sister? This one's going to be short because I need answers ASAP. Okay, so I, 16 female, saw on my sister's 12 female Snap story that she was smoking weed with a friend whose house she's staying at. I'm conflicted because if I tell my mom, my sister is going to absolutely hate me, but if I don't tell my mom, I fear she's going to keep going to this friend's house and continue doing it, and I don't want her to get addicted to it. Would I be the asshole? Update. For anyone interested, I have told my mother she ended up crying and vented to me about her past experiences with drugs and such. She's happy I told her when I did instead of covering for my sister. She's not mad at her, just disappointed. She's going to be grounding her and taking away her phone, since that's her contact to those kinds of friends. And she's also going to have a big talk with my sister, as my mother is a very calm woman. So if we do anything stupid, she usually calmly speaks to us about what's going on and how she can help. But all in all, it's a happy ending for now at least. If there's anything further, I'll update more.